Hello, humans. Welcome to another episode of Sinister Soup. Today we have an awesome episode with three of my favorite authorpreneurs, as they like to call themselves. We have Sean Platt, we have David Wright, and we have Johnny B. Truant. And we're going to be talking about all sorts of things Sterling and Stone today. So welcome, guys. Thanks for being on the show.
For the record, I've never called myself an authorpreneur.
He's kind of the opposite
put that
of an
out there.
entrepreneur.
I was actually thinking that felt a little long in the tooth, but I'll take it.
Reject the term.
Okay. No, entrepreneurs who are also authors. David, what do you call yourself if you're not an entrepreneur?
A miserable bastard writer. That's all. I'm not an entrepreneur. I'm just a writer, and I'm pulled into entrepreneuring.
It's true.
Isn't
Screaming.
Isn't miserable bastard implied with most writers? Like all a little introverted and a little bit self-hating, usually, right?
Not you.
No, well, not. But we're the anomalies. Sean and I are the weirdos.
Yeah, I mean, I would say from reading what you guys have done, Johnny and Sean, you definitely don't hate yourselves, and that's a good thing. That's a good thing.
we don't.
Does that mean in the multi-class of your personalities, you started entrepreneur first and then like adapted the writer like multi-class second, or was it the other way around still?
No, I think I've always been a storyteller, but I think that if the tools if there hadn't been so much possibility, then I don't think that I would have channeled my storytelling in this way. I would have been doing other things, but maybe. I mean, enterprise. There was very seriously, a couple of years ago, I went to this
story recently.
Yeah, both of you guys know about this, where or Johnny and Dave both know this. So I went to this. It sounds weird because I actually paid a lot of money to do this.
Let's just cut to the chase. When Sean was in prison.
Yeah, I did. I went to prison. Okay. So
you didn't pay to go to prison. You paid to leave, really.
That's true. Yes. So it was, I boarded a bus in Santa Monica at 4 a.m. We took a long ass bus trip.
Blindfolded.
To prison, to Kern County Correctional Facility. Okay. And we spent the entire day with a group of people who had joined this like entrepreneurial thing. It's a program where it reduces the recidivism rate in ongoing prisoners. So in Kern Correctional, it went from like 93% of inmates return to 7% after they've taken this program.
Wow.
And it
turns out if you educate people that they can actually, get out of the system and do good shit. You just
feel like it's deeper
people
than
away
that.
Forever.
I feel like it's letting them be who they were gonna be, which I think is the second half of Sean's story.
Yeah, and there's just these like the energy in this room was just amazing. And one of the I knew about this event from one of the person who created it is in one of the masterminds I'm in, and she had just seen like how fucked the system is, right? And they spend upwards of $70,000 a year to keep an inmate in prison, right? Mm-hmm. But this program costs $500. Like that's what it costs per inmate is $500. And it's like a lot, like Seth Godin has a marketing class in there, and like it's a lot of really cool shit, but they're basically teaching you to think and to build a business when you get out. And so there's this exercise that they did where they had everybody stand on two sides of a line, and they were just questions that you asked, like, did you grow up in a house with one parent who read to you? Did you, and you had to say yes or no and step back or towards the line. And just, it was phenomenal. It was a phenomenal experience, because what I walked away with is, wow, my creative intellectual DNA is very similar to a lot of people in this room. And the difference between an entrepreneur and a criminal is really circumstance and opportunity. Because like I would have done a lot of the things that people did. If I had to feed my family, I'm going to find a way to hustle, because I have to feed my family, and I'm not somebody who's going to go work at McDonald's to feed my family if I really am in a place of hustling. I'm not wired that way. I'm going to go figure it
'Cause
out.
You can't make enough per hour doing
You
it that
can't.
way.
And I would want more for my family, and I wouldn't do anything to hurt people. Like, I don't think I'm wired in that way, but like a weed dealer in California in the 90s when I grew up, fuck yeah. Like, the only reason I didn't is because I didn't have to. Right.
Yeah, right.
And so that just really made me have a lot of empathy that, I think as a storyteller, that's our job anyway, is to see both sides of everything. But like being in that situation and having conversations about, like, there are people in there who are serving life sentences for shit that happened when they were 19 years old. And it's just really dumb shit. Like,
And it's
really
almost
dumb
like
shit.
the system was designed to create slaves forever. Just putting that out there.
No, okay.
But anyone want to hand
Welcome
Dave the mic?
welcome to an authorship podcast.
So is that
What about Fat Vampire, Dave?
is that sort of where you got is that an experience like it, where you got the idea for changing the world with stories being sort of the brand of your company?
No, I mean, we would have had that tagline years before, but it is what kind of having that tagline and having that be a part of our creative DNA here is what I think conversely gets me in situations like that. So this particular group of entrepreneurs, they're all like, I really want to build, I want to make a lot of money, but I don't want to do it unless my product is changing the world in some way. And I just really resonate with that particular kind of entrepreneur. Like, I want to do awesome shit and work with awesome people, and I want to be rewarded for my time, but I would love for my work to have impact. And ultimately, once I hit a baseline, that's what I care about most, is how much fun am I having and who am I working with and am I making a difference? And I think that at that scale, everything starts working together because you attract the people who want to make a difference in the world and have the means to do so. And so I think that really focusing on your true north and staying true to who you are creatively and intellectually is the best way to get there, even though sometimes it's a much longer and more winding road than you might want it to be or expect it to be.
Okay, awesome. What about you guys? What do you think about the tagline? What does changing the world with story mean to you guys?
I feel like I want to let Dave go first on this one.
Me too.
But
The world can't be changed.
Not soil the world.
Well, then it's like a sandwich, right? When you do a compliment sandwich,
Yeah, because I'm going to be complimentary of it, but I feel like
Right.
Dave's going to
No.
shit all over it.
For me, and stories have always been an escape for me. When I grew up, I didn't have a lot of friends in school. I know, imagine, shock, surprise. I was bullied and I kind of retreated into my own world. And this was my way of finding myself and exploring stories and creating worlds for other people that are looking to escape, whether it's escaping like bad situations or just mundane, like, you have a job that sucks and maybe you got some time to read a book or something on the job. Just whatever escape that helps you get through the day, and maybe some idea will spark something in you and maybe you'll create something. I don't know.
Boy, that wasn't totally negative.
I'm sorry. I
liking
get
that. Yeah. So
whatever keeps the gun out of your mouth, man. That's all.
and I'm Johnny, because I know on these things it can get confusing figuring out who the hell is who, especially if you're not looking. But I actually wish I remembered the genesis of We Changed the World with Story, because for a while Sean and I were.
The genesis. It was Fiction Unboxed.
Yeah, but I feel like we refound that. I feel like because we did originally, that's actually what's funny about it is, so I still have one of the original. We did a project called Fiction Unboxed, where we wrote a story live in 30 days, and we needed a fun tagline for that. And so the idea of changing the world with story was part of that, but I wish I could remember. I don't feel like it was the same exact species of changing the world with story. It was somehow different. It was a little more like, this sounds good and it's also technically true, so let's go with it. Whereas I feel like we re-reached it after doing the whole 6-word intro a few times. Like we were, do you know the concept of 6-word intro?
Yeah. It was
did this.
post 6-word intro.
Yeah, and so we, for a while, and I don't think this is 6 words, we make stories and smarter artists. That is 6. Okay, so we did do that one, and there were a few, and I feel like I remember this moment of like, oh, we changed the world with story. I remember it being like this mindgasm of like, that perfectly works, rather than somebody methodically figuring it out. But it was really apropos, because in my mind, we're not like, I hate it when people are really like heavy-handed about what they're trying to do. It just, I don't know, feels forceful and intrusive.
Yeah.
But that said, I do feel that the change that is made in the world, when it is actually made, is made through stories. It's not made through legislation. It's not made through heavy-handed sort of intrusive things. I mean, I think COVID has taught us that more than anything else. Like you can't just make people do things. It just doesn't work. So, but story has a way of anything that has changed in the past, however many decades for the good, has changed, like acceptance sorts of things. All came, in my opinion, you can disagree with me, because of cultural stories that were either like literal stories or that were anecdotal stories, that you were able to get in somebody else's shoes experientially. Because story is a Trojan horse. It allows somebody to experience something that they would be resistant to experiencing, and considering the point of view of somebody that they have decided in advance they don't want to consider their point of view. And story has a way of like getting under that, and you're just along for the ride, and you're having fun, and you're enjoying it. Especially if it's like a funny story, that's especially disarming. Like